What is up, guys? Welcome back to Just a Guy on My Lunch Break. So, apparently, Netflix is being sued class action style to the tune of about $50 million for the buffering and loading issues that they experienced for the Jake Paul Mike Tyson, can't call it a fight, debacle from this past weekend. And I want to talk about the CEO, Greg Peters, lying his ass off. I don't think this looks good on Netflix. This isn't the first time, apparently, that they've had issues with their platform and buffering and things of that nature. Obviously, I think this was the worst experience that Netflix has ever had. And they're going to be owing a lot of people a lot of money. Um, you know, I mean, nobody missed anything. Didn't really matter if it was buffering or not, or loading, or just cut off altogether. You didn't miss shit, trust me. But I can definitely understand how frustrating that is. And I've in the past before, paid $80 to get a UFC fight, and then had something happen to the ESPN platform where I was having trouble watching it and this and that. And at one point, actually had to have um, the money refunded back to me because of the kind of trouble I was having. I had trouble when I watched the Floyd Mayweather Logan Paul event back in the day. I was curious, just like everyone else was. I think that one was on Showtime or HBO. I think it might have been Showtime that they did that one. And so many people were trying to watch it that it had problems with buffering, and all this other stuff. So, what are they going to need to do to fix these issues of live streaming? Because the CEO, I don't want to step all over the story. Let me just read some of the article first, and then we will go from there. So, the headline says Netflix hit with class action lawsuit over streaming issues on Jake Paul Mike Tyson bout. The fight emerged as the most viewed sporting event ever on the platform, with 108 million people watching worldwide. Tens of thousands of subscribers reported trouble with their streams. Netflix is facing a proposed class action from subscribers who were plagued by persistent buffering and freezing glitches that caused them to miss parts of the boxing spectacle between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. Again, I reiterate, you would have just about rather seen the buffering than what we actually did see. You didn't miss much. It was quite a sad affair, if I'm being completely honest. A Florida resident alleges Netflix was woefully ill prepared for the nine-figure global audience that tuned into the bout. The lawsuit, which seeks unspecified damages on behalf of subscribers who had trouble watching the fight, brings claims for breach of contract and violations of Florida laws surrounding deceptive trade practices and consumer protection. Wow. So, Netflix obviously is a massive platform. To hear the terms deceptive trade practices and consumer protection in the same sentence with Netflix, that's got to be a little scary for them. This is a big freaking deal. Netflix customers experience massive streaming issues and should have known better because it's happened before, states the complaint filed on Monday in Florida state court. For Netflix, declined to comment. How ironic. The fight emerged as the most viewed sporting event ever on the platform, with 108 million people watching worldwide, according to the U.S. viewing tallies from analytics company TV Vision and Netflix first-party data. Touting viewership figures, the company said that the fight brought in 60 million of its member households, about one out of every five subscription holders. Wow. Of all of the Netflix subscribers worldwide, literally 20% of all of them were trying to watch this fight. That's quite a lot, especially when you consider how many people are likely subscribed to Netflix. Leading up to the main event, Netflix broken, unwatchable, and buffering surfaced as trending topics on X. When asked if the streamer was prepared for the magnitude of viewers expected to watch in an interview before the showdown, Gabe Spritzer, vice president of Netflix sports arm, told The Hollywood Reporter. On the tech side, everyone is excited and prepared. Fight promoter Nakisa Badarian added that he was confident that Netflix servers are going to be up for the task. The lawsuit claims that viewers faced streaming glitches and buffering issues throughout the whole event, some completely unable to access the stream altogether. It takes issues with Netflix declining to offer refunds and discounts. Now that would piss me off. If I wasn't able to watch it and it buffered and loaded the whole time and I missed half the fight and then Netflix turns around and refuses to give me a few months free, because a lot of these people, this was Mike Tyson getting back in the ring, the second time he's been in the ring in over 20 years. And Mike Tyson is one, if not the biggest boxing name ever in history, one of the biggest athletes ever in history in terms of name value. Mike Tyson's a household name. So you got to think how many people not only watched it, but brought people over, bought food, had parties, and you probably did, cookouts, brought the whole family and friends over, made this big ordeal out of it, to then have 20 people sitting around eating their food, watching the little buffering circle go around. Like, can you believe this shit? You know what I mean? That this is no bueno for Netflix. The subscribers started to complain of streaming issues at 7 p.m. Central Time, according to Down Detector, which monitors service outages. Nearly 3 hours later, there were roughly 97,000 reports. Almost 100,000 reports. Instead of providing the programming as viewers pay for every month, Netflix was completely unprepared and unable to fix the issues, states the complaint, which stresses the company's failure to fulfill contractual obligations as they continued billing for services that were not delivered. So people had all these issues, had people over, had parties, bought food, did all these things to get ready for this fight. Then they weren't able to watch the fight, and then Netflix has the nerve to turn around and say, nah, I don't think you need the next 2 months free. Nah, you can still pay for it. You can still pay for it. We don't give a shit that you had 20 family and friends members over. We could care less. We could care less that you paid for $150 worth of food to have a watch party. Netflix is screwed. This is going to hit them hard. The fight wasn't the first time Netflix faced technical issues for a live event. Last year, the live reunion for season 4 of Love is Blind was delayed by more than an hour. Without pointing to a specific cause, Netflix CEO Greg Peters expressed confidence that the company maintains the infrastructure to support live broadcasts. You sure about that, Greg? You sure about that? I know nothing about streaming platforms, okay? I don't know how to fix it. I don't have a freaking clue how to fix it. The most I know about this is, all right, everybody turn the Wi-Fi off in everything in the house except for what we're watching it on. Turn your phone off, disconnect your Wi-Fi, go over there to that Bluetooth speaker over there, disconnect the Wi-Fi. Everybody on your phone, disconnect your Wi-Fi, tablets, laptops, disconnect your Wi-Fi so we can watch this bitch on this one television. That's the most I know about streaming, okay? But I do know this is what happens when you get these overpaid CEOs with God complexes. They don't foresee stuff like this happening because they've got their heads so far up their own asses. They just assume that everything is going to be all right. Oh, we can handle it. We can handle it. Because everything's all good until it's not. Until you've got 100,000 people that can't watch the fight when they've been looking forward to this fight for months and months and months and months. And then for Netflix to even dare consider not giving someone their money back or crediting someone at least a few months, I would say 5, 6 months. Credit them 5, 6 months of their monthly subscription fee, something. You know, I mean, as a huge company as they are, they have to do something to make this right. The lawsuit filed by Ronald Denton seeks unspecified damages and looks to represent all subscribers who faced issues watching the fight. It brings claims for breach of contract and violations of Florida's unfair and deceptive trade practices and Consumer Collection Practices Act. Netflix is in the shitter, and I know a lot of people on my channel watched this fight as well. If you are a person that had trouble with the whole buffering and loading thing, you might be getting paid. You might get, I'm not saying you're going to get a huge amount because, in all fairness, it was free with your subscription. But you pay what? Every month for your Netflix subscription. You know, it's like up to, I don't know what it is now, $15.49 per month. Premium, you're going to be paying $22.99 a month. So you're paying $16 a month. It's not a huge amount, but you've been paying that for however long you've been paying it continuously. And there's people that pay for it and then they never watch Netflix. You know, they pay for that, but then they watch Netflix once a month or something, you know? And so it's one of those things where when you look at that price and then you put together all of the months, all of the years that you've been paying for your Netflix subscription, and then you have this one thing that you finally want to watch, and Netflix ability to be able to continue to stream without buffering and loading all depends on the CEO and his ability to look and say, okay, now let's look at the analytics here. It looks like a shit ton of people are going to be watching this. And you know, we did have that issue a few years back when we had that Love is Blind series, season 4, you know, and half the amount of people that will probably watch this Tyson Jake Paul fight were watching it, and we had trouble with loading, you know. We might want to see whatever we have to do to kind of beef up our streaming process and streaming platform a little bit. You're telling me nobody thought to do this? Nobody stopped and said, well, you know what? It's crazy because last year, the live reunion for season 4 of Love is Blind was delayed for more than an hour because of streaming issues on Netflix. I wonder if this event, which is slated to be the most watched sporting event the last half century, I wonder if that's going to affect anything. Nah, we're good. We're good. Or either they thought, probably, but I will cross that bridge when we get to it. He would have rather reacted to the buffering and the loading than be proactive and try to do something. That would have been a lot of work to try to get something done up front. But they made this deal with Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. If I was Jake Paul, I'd be pissed off because not only was the fight shitty, then you've got 100,000 people sitting there trying to watch it, can't get the damn thing to go. And then when it does finally go, all they see is Mike Tyson's old ass walking around the ring looking like he should have a cane with him, Paul dancing around pitter-pattering with him. Man, this was just a bad deal all around. The CEO for Netflix should be ashamed. He should be ashamed. I hope every cent of that $50 million gets distributed out to Netflix subscribers. Hell, I may make it up and say that I had buffering issues just because the fight sucked so bad. They should pay some sort of penalty for that. You hosted this bullshit? You streamed this bullshit? You ought to be ashamed. I wasted 2, 3 hours of my night for this, which there were some good fights on there. The Amanda Serrano fight and Katie Taylor fight was actually really good. So I can't say much about that. But anyway, yeah, get ready. If you have buffering issues, You might can get paid by Netflix because Netflix is screwed. Be interested to see how this affects their company over the next 6 months. It's going to hurt them in the pocket, that's for sure. That's it, guys. I got to go. So if you would subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment down below. If you would like to support the channel, you can do a one-time cash donation by hitting that button below this video that has a dollar symbol on it and says thanks, or you can become a member. I will leave the link for that in the description. $2.99 a month for Lunch Breaker 1, $4.99 a month for Lunch Breaker 2. That's $3 a month, $5 a month. Hell of a lot better than a Netflix subscription. And when you watch my shit, I promise it's not going to buffer the whole time. You'll actually get to hear me talk. It's a freaking bargain, guys. I'm just saying. All right. You guys have a good day.